Okay, we are back. And we're ready for case 13. Weirder stuff. We're in Idaho this time. We've made our way to Idaho, Matthew, on the trail of my former mentor. I haven't seen Falcon in years, but now that we know demons are roaming the earth with unimaginable powers, I need his advice. He lives off the grid, isolating himself in these woods, but I know how Falcon thinks, so it won't be hard to find him. I just hope Priya is alright, Matthew. She's infiltrated the werewolf pack to find out whether they're in league with the demons. Priya's a tough cookie, and she knows she has a job to do. Meanwhile, so do we, so let's spread out and track down Falcon. Follow my lead, Matthew. Pay close attention to the tree trunks. Matthew, thank goodness you're here. Arthur Darkwood, what are you doing out here in the middle of nowhere? The third season of Weirder Stuff is being filmed in these woods. It's the TV adaptation of my best-selling horror book series. But some really strange things have been happening here lately. No pun intended. What do you mean, strange things? Unexplained storms, unusual animal behavior, and bizarre noises coming from the forest. You seem to have a talent for solving mysterious occurrences, Matthew. Maybe you can help. You think we're experts in strange things, do you? You're more right than you think, Mr. Darkwood. Matthew will look into this starting at the film set. I'll have Gwen meet you there. I also got a shave earlier. At all. Hello again, Mr. Darkwood. Apparently you need help with... Oh my god! Is that guy dead? Or are those special effects? That's Rex Lane. He's the star of Weirder Stuff, and he definitely shouldn't be burned to a crisp. Take a deep breath, Mr. Darkwood, and wait over there. We'll speak with you in a minute. So much for tracking down the Chief's mentor, Matthew. We've got a murder to solve for our writer friend, Arthur Darkwood. Especially if there are strange things involved. Let's start by getting that body to Ben. And you're right, the name of Weirder Stuff's director is written on that clapperboard. They could be a solid lead, but the chalk's kind of smudged. Let's get to work, Matthew. The sooner we can figure out who killed Rex Lane, the sooner we can get back on Falcon's trail. Moment, folks, while I get stars. Alright. Let's get the clapperboard out of the way first before we talk to Arthur Darkwood. S. Ridley. Weirder Stuff's director is named S. Ridley, Matthew. That must be Scott Ridley, the guy who made those Spawn of the Dead movies. As this show's director, Mr. Ridley would have known the victim pretty well, which means we should speak with him. Let's tell Mr. Ridley we're Weirder Stuff fans. That's a decent cover story. Hey, who are you guys, and what are you doing on my set? We're like your biggest fans, Mr. Ridley. We love Weirder Stuff, and heard rumors it was being filmed out here. But when we got to your film set, we found Rex Lane had been murdered. Wait, what? Rex is dead? That's just what I need. You don't seem very upset about it. It's sad, I suppose, but that's life. People die. I'm more worried about shutting down production for a few days. That's going to be expensive. And I'm also not entirely surprised. This is just the latest in a series of strange disasters on the set. What kind of disasters? Look, I need to call the studio and tell them what's happened. You people need to get out of the way. It looks like there's a recreation area over there for the cast and crew, Matthew. Let's have a look around there while we're getting out of the way. Lucky for us, this recreation area is deserted. We can look around without being noticed. I think you're right, Matthew. Those torn pieces of fabric look like they come from Rex Lane's Soviet military costume. Let's sew those back together to be sure. And we might as well rummage through that crate of props while nobody is around. And let's talk to Arthur Darkwood. I can't believe Rex Lane was murdered, Matthew. Burned alive in the middle of a forest. It's like something right out of the show. Just start at the beginning, Mr. Darkwood. You told us you're here because they're filming Weirder Stuff. As the author of the Weirder Stuff books, the studio wanted me here for some ridiculous publicity stunt called Darkwood and the Dead Darkwoods. I didn't know Rex well, except that he was playing the lead role on the show, a mad Soviet general experimenting with monsters. Do you think his murder has anything to do with the strange things happening lately? I have no idea. I'm hoping you guys can find out. Get this out of the way first. Excuse me. This hat is from the victim's costume, Matthew, and there are burn marks all over it, which means it must have been brought here by the killer. I was about to say, let's have Priya examine this hat, but she's undercover infiltrating the werewolves. Looks like Ben will be putting in some overtime. Ran out of film time, but that's alright. Despite I did have to yawn a couple times. Got it. A monster mask. Holy cow, Matthew! That mask you found in that crate of props scared me half to death. It's so lifelike. If this mask belongs to one of Rex Lane's fellow cast members, we might have another lead. Let's clear up the name written on the inside of the mask. This mask belongs to a certain Linda Regan, Matthew. She must be one of the victim's co-stars. The more we can find out about Rex Lane, the better. So let's ask Miss Regan some questions. You must be the fan Scott told me about. He just shared the news of Rex's murder with the cast and crew. We're in shock. Did you work with Rex a lot? Yes, Rex was the one who helped me get onto the show. Nobody thought I'd make it on weirder stuff because I've never been an actor before. But I have wisdom beyond my years, you might say, and a lot of people owe me favors. Rex was one of them. So there wasn't any rivalry between the two of you? Heavens no. Rex was a legendary horror actor. The world has lost a genuine talent. And I'll see you guys when these two have run their courses. For now, this is Matthew. I'll see you soon. Okay, we're back. Let's get the results the Soviet had from Ben first. I do hope Priya's okay, Matthew. She's always resisted her werewolf instincts, but now she's jumped head first into the pack. We're all worried about her, but Priya's strong and smart. I can't think of anyone better to go undercover and find out whether the werewolves are in cahoots with the demons. Now, have you made any progress with the victim's hat? I have, in fact, and it's kind of unsettling. It's obvious the hat was torn up by Rex Lane's killer. The char marks and smoke are identical to what I found on his other clothing. But the killer must have been furious with the victim. Not only did they rip up his hat, but they also stomped all over it. Oh. How could you tell? The pattern of these char marks is consistent with a very specific form of footwear. It took a little research, but the killer trampled on this hat while wearing snowshoes. Lucky for us, Rex Lane's killer left their mark, Matthew. They used snowshoes. Now, wait a minute, let me, one last look. See what I skipped over. Stomped on it, that's what it said. Now the autopsy. I don't want to jump to conclusions, Matthew, but this body has me worried. Worried about what? Rex Lane was obviously burned alive, but there was no accelerant used. You'd expect there to be gasoline or some other chemical. The victim's wounds indicate he was killed by pure, high-intensity flames. These might have been caused by a flamethrower. But there are dozens of supernatural creatures capable of producing flames like these. Creatures? Like dragons or something? I can't be specific. All I'm saying is be careful out there in the forest, Matthew. We'll keep our wits about us, but we'll also keep our eyes peeled for a flamethrower. The killer did leave one clue behind. I found some crumbs on the body, which I determined come from frozen waffles. You know, the kind you buy in the supermarket. Now, since these waffle crumbs weren't burned, it means they were left behind after the murder was committed by the killer. That's something we can work with, Matthew. Our killer, human or otherwise, eats waffles. Matthew, we came to Idaho to find the chief's former mentor. But instead of finding Falcon, Arthur Darkwood found us, freaked out by strange things happening on the set of Weirder Stuff. Sure enough, we find the star of the show, Rex Lane, burned to a crisp. Ben says a supernatural creature might have been responsible, but we can't jump to conclusions. We spoke to some of the members of the Weirder Stuff cast and crew, director Scott Ridley and co-star Linda Regan, but neither seem to have any motive for murder. We have no choice but to... Wait, is that a snowstorm, Matthew? Where did that come from all of a sudden? I can't see a thing, Matthew. We better get inside. And I'll see you guys for Chapter 2. Do not go anywhere. Okay, we are back to start Chapter 2 of Weirder Stuff. I can't see a thing, Matthew. Quick, take cover. Where the heck did that snow come from, Matthew? You're right. Arthur Darkwood said there'd been unexplained storms in the forest. No wonder he was so spooked. Luckily, we found this cabin. Wait, you're right. The stuff in here looks like it belongs to the victim, Rex Lane. This must be where he was staying. Let's make the most of being in here and take a look around this cabin. There's the bomb. And I got the first star anyway. Nicely spotted, Matthew. The light on that answering machine is flashing, which means someone's left a message for the victim. If we crack the password, we can listen to what it says. And searching through the victim's wallet is a good idea. We might find something relevant to his murder. But this marijuana bong isn't the victim's. That fresh moisture means someone besides Rex Lane recently used it. Let's dust this hideous apparatus for fingerprints and find out who was here. I'm gonna do everything now. Who keeps a condom in their wallet? Jeez. You're going to burn, Rex. Oh boy. Whoa, look at this card in the victim's wallet, Matthew. Someone's written, "You're going to burn, Rex," on it. And there's a picture of a man on fire. Given that the victim was burned alive, it's safe to say this card was sent as a threat by his killer. But where does this card come from? It doesn't look like the tarot cards we've seen before. Probably best to have Felix examine it. Okay. One, 7, 1, 7, 1. Okay. 1, 7, 1, 4, 7. 7, 4, 9, 7. Now that you've cracked the password on this answering machine, Matthew, we can listen to the message. Hi Rex, it's Ruby. Just checking to see if you're enjoying your stay. And remember, I do laundry on Wednesdays, so make sure your towels and sheets are ready to be picked up. That sounded like the person Rex Lane was renting this cabin from, Matthew. Ah, here it is. A certain Ruby Rees owns and operates Sawtooth Forest Lodge. That sounds like our Ruby, Matthew. Speaking with the victim's host could shed some light on his murder. Are you the general store delivery service? You better have my waffles this time. The last order you brought me was incomplete. Actually, no. We're with the Weirder Stuff production team. We wanted to let you know that your tenant, Rex Lane, was killed earlier tonight. What? Mr. Lane is dead? That's awful. Rex was renting your cabin, is that right? Yes, he's been here ever since they started filming his show. I didn't know him very well, except that he was a good guest. He never made the bed, of course, but I've had worse. Hey, listen, who's paying for the cabin now that Rex is gone? Will you production folk be footing the bill? Right, the bill. We'll check with the executives on that. Good. Meanwhile, if someone can let me know when the investigation's over, I'll pop on my snowshoes and hike over to the cabin to clean it out. Now the marijuana bong. Nine of them. Got 9 energy. First time that's happened in a while. There's a perfect set of fingerprints on this bong, Matthew, so we can compare those to our records. Let's... What was that? The lights just flickered on and off. Come on, Matthew, let's get to work on these fingerprints before we're stuck here in the dark. Do it quickly. Haruto Matsushima. The lights seem to be back to normal, Matthew. Whatever normal means around here. Plus, you found a match for the fingerprints on that bong. They're from a Haruto Matsushima. Mr. Matsushima can't be too hard to find if he's recently been here in the victim's cabin. Oh, hey, who are you guys? Did you bring over some more weed? No, we didn't. What are you doing here, Mr. Matsushima? Mr. Matsushima, you sound like my lawyer. Just call me Harry. Well, Harry, what are you doing in Rex Lane's cabin? Didn't Rex tell you? He let me crash here with him while he's filming. I thought everyone on the set knew. No, he never told us. And I'm afraid we have some bad news. Rex has been murdered. Murdered? As in killed? For real? Man, that's a trip. How long have you known Rex? We've been friends since high school. Rex became an actor and I kind of drifted around. I've been down on my luck lately, so Rex invited me here. He was always cool like that. Jeez, this is terrible news, and I've got the munchies. I could really go for some waffles right now. I'll let the playing card run its course, and I'll see you when that's done. For now, this is Matthew. See you soon. Okay, we are back. Let's get the results of the playing card. Dudes, this is nuts. I'm like a kid in a candy store. What do you mean, Felix? Being out here on the set of weirder stuff, this is my favorite show. Calm down, fanboy. We have a murder to solve, and that card Matthew found in the victim's wallet might help us do that. You're not wrong there. If that handwritten threat didn't convince you this card was sent by Rex Lane's killer, the card itself sure will. You see, this is a Dragon's Breath card from the popular role-playing game Dungeons & Dragons. Without going into too much detail about the game, that could literally take days. It's enough to know a player uses the Dragon's Breath card to inflict a swift and fiery death on an opponent. Seeing that the killer inflicted a fiery death on Rex Lane, it's obvious they're an experienced Dungeons & Dragons player. Well, Matthew, our killer will learn soon enough that we're not playing games. Now that we know this was premeditated murder, let's return to the scene of the crime to scout for more clues. Okay, I have to check something real quick. But anyway, threw that away for sure. So what are we looking for this time, Matthew? Ah, you're right. The victim's name is written on that torn paper. Let's tape that back together. And I didn't notice that locked metal case when we were here before. Let's open that up and... A bunch of crows swooping us? Really? What the heck is happening in this forest, Matthew? Come on, let's get to work before anything else happens. Need to get a few stars. Sit tight, folks. Okay. I didn't even have to move my mouse after all. Shouldn't have done that the second time. There's a bunch of SD cards inside this case, Matthew. These must be recordings filmed on the set. Looking through all that footage could take a while, so let's have Hope examine these SD cards. Oh, 9 hours, okay. That torn paper is a Weirder Stuff film script, Matthew, and someone scribbled, "You're destroying my character, Lane." My character? This message could only have been written by Arthur Darkwood, the author of the original Weirder Stuff stories. Darkwood told us he didn't know Rex Lane, but he clearly had a bone to pick with him. Let's find out why he didn't tell us. Mr. Darkwood, you said that you hardly knew Rex Lane, only that he was portraying one of your characters. But judging from the script, you obviously weren't happy with this performance. My presence on the set was meant to be symbolic. I wasn't here as an official consultant. I spent most of my time playing Dragons and Dungeons with the director, Mr. Ridley, or snowshoeing in the mountains. But when I saw Mr. Lane performing, I nearly choked on my waffles. I was horrified by what I witnessed. He was portraying the character completely wrong. How do you mean wrong? Stanislav Yakovich, the main villain in Weirder Stuff, is supposed to be charismatic, suave, with ice flowing through his veins. But Lane's portrayal was a parody of the character, a hackneyed, stereotypical buffoon. He was destroying the integrity, the very essence of Weirder Stuff. My stories are my children. Nobody meddles with that. And I'll let the SD cards run its course. I'll see you when that's done. Okay, we are back. Let's get the results of the SD cards from Hope. Oh, it's you, Matthew. I thought you might have been Felix. He's been pounding on my trailer door ever since you sent me these SD cards. He's desperate to see a sneak peek of the new season of Weirder Stuff. Lucky for you, we're only interested whether those cards have anything to do with this murder. Well, you're in luck. These SD cards are full of cuts from the show, filmed on set in the forest. And there's one scene in particular you should see. Take a look at this. What I'm drinking right now. Our experiment has worked, comrades. The monster has been released. Wait. I won't work another second in this ridiculous costume, Lane. This is not what I signed up for. You'll put that mask back on and like it, Reagan. Or you can find another show to work on, and good luck finding anyone who will hire you. Cut! Whoa, talk about a fiery scene, Matthew. Rex was really going at it with his co-star Linda Reagan. I thought Miss Reagan was grateful the victim got her apart on weirder stuff, but she sure doesn't sound like it. We can't speak with the victim about this argument, but we can ask Linda Reagan about it. After the shock of hearing about Rex's murder, I forgot to ask whether you guys wanted an autograph. Maybe later, Miss Reagan, but we heard rumors around here that you and Mr. Lane were fighting. Well, it wasn't a secret that I was angry with Rex. That selfish man only cared about that selfish man only cared about himself. What do you mean? Rex said he'd get me apart on weirder stuff, but he hardly lived up to his promise. I was supposed to get a starring role on the show, but instead I ended up as some background character wearing a monster mask. How will I possibly be adored by fans if they don't even recognize me? So that's why you two argued. Excuse me. I told Rex I wasn't snowshoeing back and forth from my trailer every day just for this. If he wouldn't share the spotlight with me, then he could drop dead. Something tells me she's not the one. Rex Lane might have been a popular Hollywood superstar, Matthew, but those who worked with him closely were less impressed. While his closest friend and his host seemed to have no issue with Rex Lane, his co-star Linda Reagan was furious the victim only got her a mediocre part in the show. And Arthur Darkwood, Weirder Stuff's creator, was horrified by Rex Lane's portrayal of a beloved character. There's no shortage of people who aren't sorry to see Mr. Lane dead, but who among them actually burned him to a crisp? Wait, did you hear that noise? I think someone or something is out there, Matthew. We're going to have to find out who that is in Chapter 3, so do not go anywhere. And we're starting Chapter 3 of Weirder Stuff. Still have my rock star with me. And this is what we last left off on. Haruto Matsushima. Matthew, what are you doing here? We could ask you the same thing, Mr. Matsushima. Going somewhere with those bags of money? These? Well, these are just, well... Come on, Harry. Let's get you back inside Rex's cabin and see if we can get your story straight. Let's find out. So, where'd you get this money, Harry? We thought you were down on your luck. The thing is, Rex was always the successful one, Matthew, and I've always been a loser. Even as kids, he was better than me. I don't think I ever won a single game of Dungeons and Dragons and Dungeons against him. And it's true, I have been short of cash lately, so I was grateful Rex let me stay here for a while. But I owe a lot of money to some dangerous people, so I asked my friend if he'd cover me, but he said no. So you thought you'd kill your best friend, then steal his money? No, I didn't kill Rex, I swear, but he didn't understand. I'm desperate to pay off those loan sharks. Hopefully not desperate enough to commit murder. Now park yourself here until we get to the bottom of this. Meanwhile, Matthew, let's do another sweep of this cabin, in case we missed something. That shirt you found belongs to Rex Lane, Matthew, but the victim's initials aren't the only thing on it. That red substance could be a blood stain. We better get a sample of that. And let's tape those torn pieces of paper back together. That could also be an important clue. There really has been a lot of weirder stuff happening in the forest, Matthew. Let's hope these clues help us make sense of it all. Let's put this red substance you collected from the victim's shirt under the microscope, Matthew. I have a feeling it might be lipstick. And I was right, it's lipstick. This red substance isn't the victim's blood, Matthew. It's red lipstick. Sounds like Rex Lane found other ways to keep warm in his cabin in the woods. Wait, you're right. Ruby Reeves wears this shade of lipstick. I guess she was more than the victim's host. Which is something she should have told us the first time we spoke to her. Come on, Matthew. Ruby Reeves needs to explain this. Miss Reeves, you told us Rex Lane was merely a tenant, but it turns out you were romantically involved. Sure, we were lovers, but it was just a fling. I didn't think it was worth mentioning. The guy you were sleeping with was burned to a crisp, and you didn't think it was worth mentioning? We both knew the relationship was short-lived. Rex was only staying here while that TV show was filming, and then he'd be gone. Not to mention we were both from completely different worlds. I'm just a simple woman who likes playing Dragons and Dungeons in a cabin in the woods. While Rex is a Hollywood superstar. And him running off back to Hollywood didn't upset you? It wasn't meant to last, and I knew it. It certainly wasn't anything worth killing over. Excuse me. Okay, torn poster. I have a feeling that I know what these torn pieces of paper are, Matthew. This is a poster for that upcoming Broadway musical, Franklin. It's expected to be a mega hit. And look, it says that Rex Lane is playing the lead role of Benjamin Franklin himself. I doubt the victim tore up a poster promoting his upcoming performance, but maybe if Ben goes over it with a fine-tooth comb, we can find out who did it. That's another 9 hours. Cool. I'll see you guys when this is done. For now, see you soon. Okay, the Franklin poster has run its course. Let's get the results of that. So Ben, was there anything on that Franklin poster that might tell us who ripped it to pieces? I'm afraid not, Matthew, but as a massive fan of weirder stuff, Felix has a theory about this poster. What does this have to do with weirder stuff? Everything. And I mean, dudes, this is seriously bad. Great news for Rex Lane, of course, starring in a much anticipated Broadway musical, but his weirder stuff fans would have been devastated. You see, Franklin opens in a month and is expected to tour for the next few years, which means he wouldn't be able to shoot weirder stuff anymore. Rex Lane must have been leaving the show. And if Rex left, he would take a lot of TV viewers with him. If the victim's departure jeopardized the show, that could explain the torn up poster. I imagine director Scott Ridley wasn't too happy about losing a star performer. Mr. Ridley already thinks we're fans. Let's pretend we're devastated about this news. Are you guys still here? Can a man take a break and eat his waffles in peace? How can you eat at a time like this? We just found out that Rex Lane was leaving the show. Did you know about this? Of course I did. I'm the director. I know everything that goes on around here. And you weren't upset by it? Without Rex, weirder stuff is doomed. We're beside ourselves. Rex was popular, but guys like him are a dime a dozen. There are plenty of other actors who want to get onto this show. But Rex, a diva to the very end, demanded he have a noble on-screen death. He said it was the least he deserved. Now that he was a high and mighty theater actor, I told him he'd die any way I told him to. Oddly enough, Rex's character was meant to be killed by a huge fireball. I guess it's just pure coincidence that's what happened for real. Pure coincidence, or you making fantasy a reality? I don't need to stand here listening to these accusations. I'm marching back to my trailer. I suppose it's fitting for a Hollywood actor, but Rex Lane's life sure had its fair share of drama. We discovered the star of Weirder Stuff was actually leaving the show to pursue a career on Broadway. Despite the potential backlash from fans, the show's director claims he didn't care Rex Lane was leaving. But it's a huge coincidence the victim was killed in exactly the same way Scott Ridley wanted him to die on the show. The victim was also romantically involved with Ruby Rees, but she says it was just a random fling. While Rex Lane's deadbeat friend Harry Matsushima was angry that the victim wouldn't lend him money, cash he desperately needed to pay off some violent loan sharks. We have plenty of suspects, but which one of them had a strong enough motive to murder Rex Lane? What the? Holy cow! That barbecue pit just surged up in flames by itself! Come on, Matthew, let's take a quick look around this recreation area again, before there's another fireball, or a snowstorm, or a flock of creepy birds. Kind of sniffly a little bit this week. We already know Rex Lane's killer was here after the murder, Matthew, so that snowshoe bag must be theirs. Let's take a sample of those fibers on the outside of the bag. And I agree, that storage cupboard could be a good place to hide evidence. So let's crack that lock and see what's inside. Let's get to work on these clues, Matthew, but hurry. The sooner we're out of this weird forest, the better. Got the fibers. Nice work collecting those fibers off the killer's snowshoe bag, Matthew. Hopefully Ben can find something on these that will lead us to Rex Lane's killer. Grill. Whoa, there's a flamethrower hidden in this cupboard, Matthew. That's not standard barbecue equipment. This must be the murder weapon. I'm actually kind of relieved we found this. Now we know for certain Rex Lane was killed by a human and not some crazy forest dragon or something. Ben's been pretty busy in the lab with Priya undercover, and the chief knows a lot about weapons, so let's have him examine this flamethrower. Okay, that'll do. I'll let these two run their courses. See you when they're done. Okay, folks. We have returned, and let's get the results of the fibers first. These fibers you collected off the killer's snowshoe bag sent me on a trip down memory lane, Matthew. Really? How so? For some reason, the color of those fibers looked very familiar, and once I had them under the microscope, I understood why. These fibers are cotton threads from a piece of clothing. When I laid them side by side, a pattern emerged. Green military camouflage, just like I used to wear in the army. The victim was wearing a Soviet military costume when he was killed, but that uniform isn't camouflage. Exactly, which means this particular camouflage pattern is being worn by Rex Lane's killer. Well, the killer will need more than camouflage to hide from us, Matthew. Now the flamethrower from Jacob Arrow. I dismantled the killer's flamethrower within an inch of its life, Matthew, examining it piece by piece. But I could have saved myself the trouble. There was nothing in there remotely relevant to the murder. So maybe this flamethrower wasn't the murder weapon after all. Ben might have been right. Rex Lane could have been killed by some sort of creature. Nope, this is definitely the murder weapon. The crucial clue was on the outside of the flamethrower, practically right under my nose. There was a white greasy substance on the trigger, where the killer would have activated the flamethrower. I cross-checked the substance with Priya's records, and it turns out it's a moisturizing cream, used to reduce the bags under your eyes. Which means our very human killer shouldn't be too hard to spot, Matthew. They'll have bags under their eyes. Right, Matthew. It's time to make an arrest. I'm glad we're dealing with a human and not some monstrous creature who murdered Rex Lane. Let's go. let's see. Wait a minute, let me see the other ones. No. Oh boy, I think we got a problem here. Oh, it's not Scott Ridley. He's not even in camo. Hopefully I'm right on this. Yes, I am. Took my time, and I got it right. So it was you, Ruby. You murdered Rex Lane. What? I don't know what you're talking about. It's obvious what happened. You fell in love with a charismatic Hollywood megastar. But instead of being your knight in shining armor, Rex broke your heart, so you killed him. Nonsense. I told you I knew our relationship wouldn't last. I know how it feels to be rejected, but to burn the man alive, that's monstrous. Rex was the monster. He was the one who wanted me dead. And I know who you are. You're the supernatural hunters Rex hired to kill me. Well, I'm not going without a fight. You're not human. What are you? Hunters like you know exactly what I am. Listen, Ruby, we are supernatural hunters, but we're not here to harm you. Rex didn't hire us. Just tell us what happened. My name is Ruba Ray. I'm a woodland spirit. I've been watching over this forest for 1,000 years. But my time is coming to an end. Before long, I will be gone. I am in need of an heir, someone to take over and look after these woods once I pass on. As Rex and I became closer, I trusted him. I thought maybe he could be the one to help me bear a child. So I opened up to him and showed him who I really was. I take it Rex didn't react well to the truth. He was horrified. He told me he would find someone who'd rid the world of a monster like me. I'm a peaceful spirit. I didn't want to hurt him, but I had to protect myself. So I grabbed that flamethrower while Rex was on the set to make it look like he was killed by a human. We're not here to harm you, Ruba Ray. We just... Liars! You're here to destroy me. Well, you'll have to catch me first. Wow, that was close, Matthew. We almost ended up roasted, just like Rex Lane. Ben was right after all. The star of Weirder Stuff wasn't murdered by a human. He was burned to death by a woodland spirit, defending her life. Ruba Ray must also be responsible for all of the strange things Arthur Darkwood told us about, the things we've seen since arriving in this forest. That woodland spirit is unstable and out of control, and from what we've seen, that's a dangerous combination. We must find Ruba Ray and convince her we're not here to harm her. And we'll see you for the Call of the Wild 3-5. Alright folks, let's start the Call of the Wild 3-5 for Weirder Stuff. The AI, of course. The chief told us what happened with that woodland spirit, Matthew. Are you dudes alright? A little singed around the edges, but it could have been a lot worse. Or singed around the edges, but it could have been a lot worse. Ruba Ray is on the warpath. She thinks we're the supernatural hunters Rex Lane hired to eliminate her. She's clearly feeling desperate if she needs to produce an heir. For her, it's a matter of life and death. If my woodland lore is correct, I think there's a way we can help Ruba Ray. We just have to convince her we're the good guys. Well, Matthew, you and Felix should find the woodland spirit. But we also need to find Falcon, my former mentor. I know how my old friend thinks, and I reckon I saw something near that film set which could get us started. Matthew, meet me on the set in a few minutes, Matthew. Unless you and Felix want to find Ruba Ray first. Got it. Having trouble finding the drone. There we go. Nicely spotted, Matthew. Those markings carved into that tree are exactly what I'm looking for. Falcon and I used these symbols as codes back when we were hunting vampires together. Whatever these markings mean, they're a huge step towards finding my old mentor. Let's get a photo of them and decipher the code. Got it. They actually put it in numerical order this time. These card symbols correspond with the sequence of numbers, Matthew. These make any sense to you? Nope, me neither. They could mean anything. No sense scratching our heads all night in the cold. Let's have Hope crunch these numbers and see what she can come up with. Ruberay, if you're out here, please come and talk with us. We're unarmed. We just want to help you. Liar, your kind don't help creatures like me. You've been sent to destroy me. No, we have nothing to do with Rex Lane. Matthew and our crew are committed to protecting supernatural creatures. You need to conceive an heir, right? Well, there might be a way that can happen. Now, this might seem like an awkward question, but when was the last time you and Rex Lane slept together? A few days ago, I believe. Well, according to lore, you can still conceive a child within a week of lying with a human. The seed can be enchanted with a special incantation, together with some object that represents the human's affection towards you. Did Rex ever give you anything while you were together? A gift, maybe? He had a necklace made for me. It's probably still in the cabin. Then we'll go get it and do our best to help you. You better be telling the truth, humans. You know what happens to people who cross me. Don't think I want to find out. Oh boy. I see the champagne. Okay. This necklace we're looking for better work. If we can't help Ruberay conceive a child, our butts are toast. Where should we start looking, Matthew? I guess that suitcase is as good a place as any. Got it. A ruby necklace. Nice work, dude. That ruby necklace you found in the victim's suitcase must be the one Ruberay told us about. I'll take this necklace to my trailer and get to work on that incantation, Matthew. Come see me once I'm ready. 6 hours. I'll see you guys when these two are done. Okay, we are back. Let's get the results of the numbers from Hope. These numbers you sent me got me thinking about my guardian again, Matthew. He was the one who taught me how to read geo-coordinates like these. Your guardian? You haven't told us much about him, but I thought he was more the scholarly type and less of a Boy Scout. He did like his books, but he was surprisingly big on practical skills like self-defense and hiking. Anyway, it didn't take me long to recognize the numbers as latitude and longitude coordinates. Location coordinates, of course! Where do they lead? About a mile east of here. Nothing came up when I hacked into the satellite imagery, so I sent out a drone below the treetops. There's a wooden structure at these coordinates, and it's not the cabin the victim was renting. A wooden structure? That could be where we'll find Falcon. One more way to find out, Matthew. Let's get to those coordinates. Your business. What are you doing on my property? Falcon, it's me, Jake, your old hunting partner. Jake? Jacob Arrow? Yes. My God, it's good to see you, old friend, after all these years. Wait, how do I know it's you? The Jake I remember had both of his arms, for starters. Not to mention you could be some shapeshifter pretending to be Jake. Or maybe this is all in my head. I do think I ate too many of those mushrooms last night. Either way, if you can't prove you're the real Jacob Arrow, you better stay clear. Alright. Trust me, I am your old partner, and we'll be back to prove it. I don't remember Falcon being this paranoid, Matthew. He's obviously been through a few scrapes since I saw him last, if he doesn't trust even me. It doesn't matter. I have an idea. Let's go search that weirder stuff recreation area. We can grab something to eat while we're there. got it. That plant could be exactly what I need to prove to Falcon that I'm his former apprentice. After my wife was killed by vampires, Falcon took me under his wing so that I didn't spiral into a revenge-fueled rage. I owe him my life. Anyway, if he wants proof, we need to examine this plant. I'll explain later, but if it's what I think it is, we're in business. Yellow ivy. Hot dog, Matthew. This plant is yellow ivy, exactly what I was looking for. See, Falcon taught me a neat trick years ago. When you take a few of these yellow ivy leaves, scrunch them up in your hands, then mix them with breath spray. Voila! A mini fireball in the palm of your hand. Falcon and I used this on more than one occasion to get out of a nasty jam. Let's head back to Falcon's property, Matthew. Once he sees this, he'll believe me for sure. You again? I told you to stay clear. If we don't have proof that I'm Jake Arrow, well, surely this rings a bell. Remember when you taught me how to do this? We used it to clear that gang of vampires out of old Mrs. Johnson's attic. Mrs. Johnson's? Why, you dang near burned the whole place down, running around with your hands on fire. There wasn't anything left of her drapes. It really is you, Jake. What are you doing here, rookie? It's good to see you, Falcon, and it's been a long time since anyone's called me rookie. But I'm afraid this isn't a social call. There are disturbing things going on at the moment, and me and my crew of hunters could use your advice. What kind of disturbing things? We've learned that there are demons roaming the earth, and we're following a lead that they may be in league with the werewolves. Demons? That is nasty business. There's not a supernatural creature in existence that comes close to the danger a demon poses to the human race. What can you tell us about them? Just bits and pieces I picked up over the years. The demons live in a realm called the Netherworld. They're ruled by a queen, and it's from her that they draw their strength. That's the reason they're so powerful. The demon queen was defeated many years ago, but I've heard rumors she's still alive, that she and her legion are gathering strength again. So what do the demons want with us? Why would they come to Earth? For our resources. The demons have consumed all life in the Netherworld. The realm is barren. Like parasites, they want to suck this planet dry. Matthew has seen evidence of this, signs that a demon has been draining Earth's life force. Normally they can't cross into our world because there is a spiritual veil between us and the Netherworld. But if a demon is strong, they can breach the barrier. Alternatively, a demon can be summoned by a human. Yes, we're familiar with that too. We've seen how that works firsthand. Have you ever heard of werewolves and demons cooperating together? Can't say that I have, but now that I know how to track you and your crew, let's stay in touch, Jake. We can keep each other updated on anything we learn. And if you're going up against werewolves, Matthew, you better take this disguise. I'm ready to try my Fertility Incantation on this ruby necklace, Matthew. Finding the right words is mega important. I gotta make sure I'm using the correct spell. If I speak one wrong word, even one wrong syllable, Ruberay might give birth to some enchanted meerkat. Okay, here goes nothing. Grationia Rumen Ruberay, Matold Astione Rex. Look at the necklace, Matthew. I think it's working. Now all we have to do is give this necklace to Ruberay, and she can conceive an heir. So, humans, are you here bearing good tidings, or have you come to meet your end? We have good news, Ruberay. We found your necklace and have enchanted it with the Fertility Incantation. Wear this necklace and never take it off, and you will conceive a child. Yes! I can sense the child's presence inside of me. I will give birth to a son. Thank you, Matthew. You have restored my trust in humanity. Take all of my worldly wealth. I no longer have need of it. Almost out of film time, so started fresh. As strange as this investigation has been, Matthew, I feel that it's sort of a happy ending. We helped Ruberay, an ancient woodland spirit, to conceive a child, so that she can leave behind an heir once she passes on. And I got to reunite with my old mentor, Falcon. Although what he shared with us is far from happy news. It turns out the demons who've made their way to Earth were fleeing the Netherworld, which has become barren. After draining their realm of life, the demons are breaching the barrier between our two worlds in order to consume our energy. Which is why Priya's undercover mission with the werewolves is so important, Matthew. We must know whether they're involved. Well, Matthew, we might be able to get some answers. I've intercepted an encoded message from Priya. She says she has information for us, but it's too dangerous to transmit over the airwaves. But she sent us rendezvous coordinates to meet her in person in Montana. Then put your snow chains on your trailers, everyone. We're going to Montana. Case number 14, released on January 16th, that's another Thursday. I'll see you all when that is done, but for now, got me a burger, and I got sticker packs to open. And another 5 new ones. there we go. And we'll see you on January 16th. I'll see y'all soon.